Hello, and welcome to another episode of FPC Talks. We are a downtown church in the heart of Huntington, West Virginia, USA. Our regular church service is live streamed every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock in the morning. Please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Also, you can check out previous worship services as well as other episodes of this program on our channel. My guest this afternoon is Mrs. Carolyn Shaw Mankins. Mrs. Mankins is a lifelong member of First Presbyterian and has spent many years being an active participant in the life of the church. I have actually gotten to know Mrs. Mankins over the past few years as she and Mr. Bob Vital have led the middle school evening Bible study at our weekly Wednesday night Logos program. I would come in at the very end of the group after the kids had calmed down and I'd play some games with them, right? Carolyn has been a member of the leadership of this church as well, serving on the session as well as the deacons multiple times over many years. Most recently, she served on the Pastor Nominating Committee and helped to hire our new minister, the Reverend Dr. Parrish L. Carolyn, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. The first question I would like to ask is, what year did you become a member of First Presbyterian Church?
I was thinking back, I think I was 11 years old. I think it was 1951. I was baptized when I was 3 months old on Easter Sunday. And as I was telling you, I have a diary of my father's that tells when I was baptized and who else was baptized.
That's really cool. Let me see if I can get a better angle of that so we can look. Let's see.
Another member of our church, Sandy Churton Powell, was also baptized with me the same Easter evening.
Oh, yeah. I think instead we'll have to take a good photo of that. Why don't you hold that up one more time to the, yeah. So we'll take a good photo of that and show that. I can't zoom right now. Yeah. That's okay, though. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, so you were 11. So I guess that was,
yes.
Yeah, confirmation, and you said,
right.
Yeah. Great. Hey, and I wanted to ask, if you can recall who was the minister.
Yes, Dr. Bird.
Dr. Bird, yeah.
Well, we had 3 ministers, I believe, but he was our head pastor.
Right.
At the time.
Right. What was the children's program like when you were very young? Was there Sunday school and family activities?
Yes, I started attending Sunday school when I was very little, and Miss Jenny Wood, who was a fixture in the church, had Sunday school for the little ones, and we sat in the little white chairs and in an old frame building where the education building is now. And then we progressed on, and when we were in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we had Sunday school in the choir room in the chapel. Mm-hmm. And all those little cubby holes were Sunday school rooms.
Oh,
and but I've always gone to Sunday school, even attend now. Mm-hmm. It's a big part of my life.
Yeah, when I called the other day, you said you were just getting off of a Bible study
Right.
over Zoom. I didn't put this on here, but because when we had our little talk before we started the camera, and I brought up Mrs. Jenny Wood because I had been looking through some of the pictures and historical photos, and there was at some point someone wrote up a lot about her, and it seems like she was at this church doing the young people, having young people groups, like in 1900 something, or in the late 1800s.
She could have been, because my picture of my mind of her was an older person with very white hair, like me, and a grandmotherly type when I had her. And that's what I remember. Don't know how long she lived. I don't remember her past when I was little. But we also had, I was also active in the choir. As I was telling you, we had 5 choirs when we were growing up. So if children from preschool clear through adult wanted to sing, there was always a choir available for them.
Wow. That's great. Can you maybe describe a little bit, a few words about a typical Sunday morning service when you were young?
What I remember more than anything, they were long. And I can remember sitting with some of my friends, and especially Dr. Bird's prayers sometimes went 5 or 7 minutes. And somebody'd sit there with a watch and time his prayers, which wasn't fun. But they were long, and lots of music. And all the pews were full. And I remember that. But I attended regularly from the time of middle school. I'm not so sure in elementary how much I attended. I did come to Sunday school every week. But then from then on, attended every Sunday.
That makes me wonder, though, if did you have... I'm thinking of, now you may not remember because you were saying that when you were very young you don't quite remember, but I think of our children's church. So the very young kids are in here for a very short time, and then they go out to the Sunday school rooms.
I don't think
or even
we
a children's message.
Had that.
You didn't have that?
No, we didn't.
You were in
and
church.
I don't ever remember having children's
time
message.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Wow. Let's switch gears a little bit. Tell me a little bit about your educational or your work background.
I graduated from Huntington High School. Then I went to WVU, and I have a bachelor's and a master's in education from West Virginia, and met my husband there, met Bill there. And the only time that I wasn't that active in the church was my years in college, and then Bill was in the service 2 years, and we were in El Paso, Texas, and I remember going to a church there that was part of the Northern Presbyterian Church. This is before they combined, and I taught second grade Sunday school there for a couple of years, and then we came back to Huntington, and I didn't work for a long time, did volunteer work for years and years, and then I worked for about 8 years at a clothing store downtown with a friend of mine had it. And then I worked 30 years for Autism Services Center and did facilities management, would go to all the group homes. We had 14 of them, and would go every week and see that they were clean, safe, everything that people need, whatever we expect for ourselves, that is what we gave our clients, and that's what I was. And just retired this year, mostly due to the pandemic, because it wasn't safe for me to be going to the homes.
Right. We were mentioning that about whether you were still doing that or not, and it's a shame, but I guess those services are still happening.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah. Great.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Are there people from your past that you think about that you want to mention that has made a lasting impression on you?
Right. I remember several weeks ago, I think I was telling you this when I was here helping with the service, and then I sat down on the pews and I was looking around the empty church and remembering different people that had affected my life. There were the director of Christian education at that time, Donna Rooney, had a lot to do with what I wanted to do with my life and how I should live my life. And I always will credit her. Dr. and Mrs. Eddowes with the music program, Dr. Hayes, who was the Minister of Education, Dr. Bird, all the staff, my parents, Carter Weil, Dan Love, Henrietta Porter, Lady Lou Jenkins, a lot of the ladies in circles that taught the Bible lesson. I never could picture myself ever being able to do what they were doing. And now I think, my golly, I'm their age, and do I even have any effect on anybody else like they had on my life? And but yes, there were probably too many to mention. But those were some of their names.
Can you describe what your vision for the future was like something like 50 years ago?
Probably even longer than that, Nick.
Oh.
As I was telling you a little bit ago, I think I've always envisioned the church being full of people and making a difference in the community, and always being mission oriented. That was a very big thing I remember as a youth, that how important the foreign mission was. We would bring the missionaries here and hear about the mission work. Yeah. And also missions closer by, like our mission out at Gill and Ranger in Lincoln County, and in Caboy-Lingo. I started going to Caboy-Lingo when I was 16 years old, and then it was a big part, the mission work. And I just envisioned the church always making a difference in Huntington. I always felt our doors opened in, but they also opened back out with us giving. And that would be what my vision was, I think.
Can you maybe describe what your vision for the future is like in the present time?
I think we have a wonderful church full of dedicated people who see the needs of the community and have stepped up and tried to help our community, help one another. I see it growing. I think our youth are special. I love working with the children, and of course I'd like to see our church grow. Like to see more, and hopefully we can bring in people, because I think there are many unchurched people in our community, and I think it's hard to reach out. I don't know. I've never been really good at that, bringing people in. I think there's probably other people much better, but that's what I envision, that we will always be a vital part of this community. I think that's
great. Do you have any? Do you remember any interesting stories about church from the past?
I don't know if I remember any interesting stories.
Originally, I put the word funny.
Funny stories.
Or
funny stories.
Yeah, funny. Could be funny. It could be.
I think with me, I've always been such a serious person. Oh, yeah. It's hard for me to. I'm just one of those kids that always tried to follow every rule and everything, and would have died if I'd done something to embarrass my parents. And I know stuff went on, and people that rang the bell when they shouldn't have, and this kind of thing. But I never took part in that. So right. I'm not good at funny. I'm so.
Well, when we worked, with the middle schoolers, and we will again soon, yes. Here soon, and you had made a mention about that. About it seems like they sometimes lose their attention very easily. I'll say it that way, maybe. But I want to say, we're going to look at some pictures here in just a second. I don't have a picture of some of the pictures I was browsing through. There's some pictures from the 50s of some of the kids in that classroom. And I mean, they're looking up at the camera, giving like a goofy face. Can you believe that?
And I'm sure they did. I just probably wouldn't have done it because I would have I don't like being embarrassed, and I've never enjoyed, I never enjoyed standing out, somewhere in the crowd. But I'm sure there were a lot of people I enjoyed and laughed at, when they did the funny things.
Yeah. And then, and kind of another question is not on here, but thinking about, it doesn't have to be a funny thing, but we're going to look at some pictures here in a moment with a lot of the groups up here, the choirs. You said 5 choirs. We'll show some of those pictures, but maybe are there any memories from that you can think of, maybe not funny, but more like meaningful, like an Easter Sunday with a huge pageant or something? You can remember those kinds of things.
I can remember one thing. This is sort of funny. Mrs. Eddowes telling us girls that they would give us treats sometime. They give us ice cream, and she always said, "Don't drink water after you eat ice cream. It'll make you fat." I do remember why that stuck in my head. But yes, lots of pageantry. Dr. Eddowes would play his instrument and, call, I think it was the trombone.
Yeah.
And
trumpet, I think.
Trumpet,
Dale told me,
And then it was almost like calling the church to attention, and then the processional and that kind of thing. But they encouraged all kids to sing, and you didn't have to have a gorgeous voice. I don't ever remember them reprimanding or telling you to stand in the back because you couldn't sing, or keep your mouth shut because you couldn't. Mm-hmm. It was a very, it's like our logos is now. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a child of God, and everybody has all these, we accept everybody's talent on talent night. And that's why I always felt, with the choirs or with the youth groups, mm-hmm. everybody was encouraged. We took part in services, like they do now, with the Bible reading or something. And, I know one funny thing. I think it was junior high then. We had like an opening before Sunday school, like a call to worship before Sunday school. And the lady who was in charge of it was a well-known English teacher at Hankton High, Miss Sweetland Oxley. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think the elevator may be in her name or something. Right. And she would pick you out, whoever was going to do it that week, and you never told her no. And she would drive by your house, make you sit in the car, and go over what you were going to do that, and it had to be perfect. And so you would get up, and then you do the call to worship and all that stuff on Sunday. It probably helped all of us to do better standing up in front of people. It really probably did. Right. But at that time, it was little daunting.
Yeah, with asking some of the young people to do that nowadays.
Us asking some
I like to do that to them too. I like to make that.
Well, in logos, sometimes we ask them and they don't want to read or don't want to do. But I think it's important.
Right. And then, of course, there's those who love to will jump right on it and say, yeah, we'll
want to do everything.
That's great too.
Right, yes.
Maybe switching gears again, you were on the Pastor Nominating Committee, and I know that was quite a process, especially in the recent history of the church. And, Skip Seibel was here for so long, and so I feel like those of you on the committee probably felt a great responsibility to perform the service. Whatever I'm trying to say. It was probably quite a hefty task. So I just wanted to ask you that. What was it like participating and searching for a new minister?
It was very important to me. I was sort of flabbergasted when Skip asked if I would be willing to serve her. And I took some time to think about it. And Bill's always been encouraging to me. Anything, he's pushed me in lots of ways to get me to do things. And I thought it was important that somebody from my age group was representing that part of the congregation. And from the minute we came together, and we didn't come together physically, it was all virtual, our committee.
Right. We were in the middle of the pandemic. 6 months,
and it was all virtual.
Yeah.
But there was a chemistry with that group that I've never had with another group, and I've been in on a lot of committees, and it just flowed. It flowed, and Alan was a wonderful leader, but everybody on there had their gifts, and they did so much research, and I felt like we just did a great job bringing Parrish here. And
we all think that too. We think you all did a great job too.
But it was good for me. I enjoyed it. I never resented 1 minute of the time it took. And I think we told all the congregation, everybody attended every meeting that we had. There was never one meeting that everybody wasn't there, might be late or might be out of town, but we all came together. And it's also made for great relationships after, you feel close to these people. Right. I would wish this for everybody, that they would find a group in the church where they have that kind of, relationship.
Right.
I really would.
What's it been like working with the young people of this generation?
I've enjoyed it. As I've told you before, I love that age group. I'm not that good with them, but I enjoy them. I've never been much of a disciplinarian, so I have a hard time with that. In fact, I've laughed about you and Bob Vito and me being together, and I don't think any of us had any discipline. Well, maybe y'all more than.
Yeah, it's hard to.
So you have 3 of us and 12 of them or something. But I just think it's just a wonderful age. You don't have to do everything for them as little, and yet they're not quite to high school, college where they know everything. So you feel like you still can give something, and they certainly have given to me. And I would recommend it for anybody. I think it's so overstated, age is a state of mind. I think it is. I mean, with me, I don't feel that. I never felt like they thought I was too old to be in the room with them.
Right.
Maybe they were talking behind my back, I don't know. But I never felt that way. I think it was a give and take. We both got something out of it.
Right.
And I love coming and just seeing the interaction of everybody at Logos. Just a wonderful.
Yeah, that kind of leads to the next question here is a plug. I'd like to give a plug to Logos, for Logos, because once it's safe to do so, once we have things start to come back to normal, we have a weekly Wednesday night program, 4:30 to 7:45. All ages. It's really not just about the young people are kind of the focus, but it's intergenerational, and I wanted to ask you, what Logos has meant to you in your life. And
it's meant a lot, Nick, because I think too often when you get to be my age or get to be older, you feel like you don't have any more to give to some group, that they're young, they want young, exciting people working with them, and that's not true, because I think you have wisdom to give and some other qualities. It's made me more involved, because I think what might have happened is I would have just come and sat in the church or and gone home. And this way you're involved. It's this, I don't know, it's exciting. And I would recommend it to anybody. I worked in the kitchen for logos for years, and that's when the same people worked every week, you know. So I was there every Wednesday, you know, doing that. And that was a different outlook at the logos. It's all part of it. It's all part of a wonderful program. I'll just be glad when it gets back.
Me too. Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
And then this was one of the final questions. I mean, we're going to show some pictures here in a moment, and that'll be exciting. But one of the last questions I had, we were just talking about, and I think I'll ask it maybe the original way I had worded it. The word church and what a church in your mind is. What does the word church mean to you?
The word church to me has always meant the people that come together as a body to worship Christ. And of course, this building means something to me because I've always gone here. It's the place where everybody does come together to worship Christ. Church can mean other things too. I think we are the church, and we are the feet and the hands of God when we go out, but we're still representing the church. I'm sure church has different meaning to everybody. Our Bible study is on Zoom now. Right. And that, just when we all get together, it's exciting each week just to see people. But there again, it's the people. I mean, you could have a Zoom and nobody come. Well, that's, you know.
Sure.
But it's it to me is the people of God, and I always feel sad for people that don't have this coming together with others, a common beliefs. I feel sorry for them, and a lot of it's our fault because we're not getting to them. So that's what the church will mean.
Sure. Well, very good. Let's change to some of these pictures. So here's the first one, which is actually just a picture of the building from the outside. This is Fifth Avenue, and it's a brick street. So does that bring back memories?
Oh, sure. And it used to be two ways, Fifth Avenue.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some of the pictures now from,
And Third Avenue was too.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not quite sure the date it changed, but I remember my father saying how many wrecks there were.
Oh, really? Yeah, you could imagine.
Yeah.
And that big boat of a car you can see probably too.
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay. Let's see. Next is actually a picture with a Sunday school group. Is that right?
I think that's what it is, or part of a youth group doing an activity maybe. And
we can't see it so well. I mean, the video, the people watching the video can see this much better. But you said that you think that may be Donna Rooney in the middle. We'll double check that. But
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Really not. I know that.
But you had talked about her. She
made such a difference. In one thing she did was she had a Bible study every Wednesday during summers at her apartment for all the kids. You know, so we kept it going. All year. Right. It didn't just stop. She took people to visit different colleges, like Christian colleges, and did all kinds of things for us. But anyway.
Okay, let's see. Next we've got the choir with the Eddos.
Yes. And that's just a group of us, 10 or 11 of us.
So this is just a partial group of the choir.
Yes, and it sort of looks like high school, maybe. So that you probably weren't having as many come out at high school as you did. But that's high school.
Now, is this in the choir room that's in before they did the renovation that was behind where we're at now? Behind this wall is the Friendship Hall.
I don't know if it was upstairs there.
All upstairs let me go back to it. In the chapel, in the round room? Okay. It's hard to see, maybe.
It is hard to see.
Yeah.
See how you've got sort of a rise, how it looks like the pictures are slanted.
Yeah.
Like you might have a little incline on this floor.
Oh, okay.
You see?
So, okay.
But there again are the Addos, and they would be here except for 2 months in the summer, and then they went to New Jersey and had music camps and stuff for a couple of months. And so.
Okay. Let's see, next is a picture of, and we were talking about this. This must have been something kind of special in the.
And this again is like a small group.
A small group, yeah.
Of the choir, because they look older, a little older. As I said, anybody wanted to sing, whatever age you were, there was a place for you in the church, in a choir.
Right. There's another picture of what we thought was maybe Christmas, a Christmas
time.
Pageant, yeah.
Like a special.
And you can see the pipes. So
Yes.
it was completely different in here. I'm going to cut to our middle camera now. I'm not messing with the camera going up and down yet because I think that'll mess up with our video. But back here behind these flags is a panel where the old where the organ sits behind this panel back here. So it looks completely different now. But from this picture here, not that one, this one. Yeah, you can see the organ pipes.
And have some like greenery draped there.
Yeah.
And see how the pews up here
came all the way, right.
Here.
They came all the way to, So we'll eventually put some pictures.
I can even remember some of the people that sat in that part
that were probably not happy when we removed their seat.
Oh my God.
But it's nice. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, that microphone. It's okay.
You tell I'm not
Actually,
used to this.
here's our next picture. This is from looking where we're sitting out into the congregation. A lot of people, and this is a
typical Sunday, because I can remember lots of times trying to hurry to get out of Sunday school so I could get my seat in the balcony so somebody else wouldn't take, because it was crowded. And
right. The next one, and this is Dr. Edo standing on the pew. Directing, I guess, a choir.
A group, right.
A group, yeah.
I'll tell you, when we had a big crowd here too, the General Assembly was here in 1963. They met in our church, and it was packed when they did that.
Yeah, I in my research, and there's a lot of information on that. The paper did a big write-up on that, and I was saying, it would be amazing to have. This was the PCUSA National.
And that's when they voted women in that could go in the ministry and could serve on session.
Right.
Was here at this church. So.
Wow. That's a great piece of history.
Yes. Yeah.
I think, this was another picture from that. Just a typical Sunday.
That is one where you had, and I don't know if it was Easter or a special time, because all 5 choirs didn't sing every week. That wasn't, and they're all there then. And they used to, for Easter, put chairs all behind the pews and line them up. It was probably against the fire marshal, but they would have chairs all the way down.
Let's see, next we have,
you're
in there, and it's hard to see from here, but you're back there peeking out behind some people.
This is when I was in high school, and this is down in the where the fellowship hall is now. And we would have youth groups on Sunday night, but they also had Wednesday night family nights and prayer meetings.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was thinking about when someone had said all the choirs and everything met on Sunday evenings, or I think Dale was telling me that, and I remember that barely, coming to Sunshiner practice on a Sunday evening, And then when it changed to Wednesdays, because Logos was created in 93, and we started changing everything to Wednesdays, but you're saying there was actually things on Wednesdays too.
Yeah. They had, I can remember when I was really young, they would have those potluck dinners. And I don't know if they're weekly or monthly. I don't remember that. But I remember, well, this is a funny story.
Okay.
I can remember that if you were assigned meat, 90% of the meat was like meatloaf that people brought. And every color in the world, I am not a meatloaf eater after
right.
those, looking at them. But, when I think back, I'm sure it was the most economical and served the most. So you had all these meatloaves. But they were for families. And, the church put on plays and minstrels and all kinds of things then.
I found I don't have the picture. I should have. You weren't in the picture, so I didn't bring it. But it's a picture of like a mock wedding, and all the men. There's no women allowed. Do you know what I'm talking? Do you remember that?
Never.
Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. And then I can remember, and this would not go over now. It wouldn't be politically correct, but my mother and some of her friends were at a minstrel, and they were all dressed, painted black, and there's a picture of that too somewhere.
Okay. Let's see. The next one I think is just another picture of a combined choir. And here we have, you are helping with a younger group. You're in the back row with, but you're probably a teenager in this picture.
Yes, that's probably Bible school. And when the kids would come, and I did help with that.
So you were helping with the younger kids back when you were the younger kid too.
we used to go out to Lincoln County, and we'd help with the kids out there. We'd put on Bible schools for them and do some church services. Oh,
and you were mentioning about the community after school community.
Right. Yes, we had that. Here, we opened up the church to kids in the community. I think it was for several years, and they met in there where the Friendship Hall is now. It was sort of a big open space, and had all kinds of activities for them and food. And I remember one year I took two of the kids to Camp Logan, Presbyterian camp, on the bus, and spent a week there with them.
Wow.
And but it was a great activity. It was great because we had whole houses downtown then. You had apartments and houses clear to the river.
Right.
So kids lived around here.
Yeah. I think my grandmother, it's not here. We're on 10th Street, but I think down closer to Marshall, closer to the student center down there is where she was born in 1916. I mean, it was houses, and there's pictures.
Oh, they're all over
the houses are just right up against the church.
And they were just down on 2nd Avenue, 3rd Avenue, 4th. They were all along there.
Wow.
People lived.
Okay.
Well, it was bigger. It was twice as big.
Yeah.
Like 90-some thousand. So
right.
A lot of.
And then this final picture for our program here is a picture of your hubby there.
Right.
This is Bill Mankins in the back row right, the most right there.
Very young.
So hopefully I'll have him on the program here soon too to talk about some things.
That might have been a session committee or something is what I'm thinking. And the only lady is the one I was talking about, Henrietta Porter. She and her sister taught Sunday school and did all kinds of things. They were wonderful people. And their dad, Mr. Oliver Porter, was on the session, very active in our church. So.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I found that picture from a scrapbook. A lot of our archival pictures, or I should say a lot of our historical pictures, are archived at the Marshall University, the Morrow Library Special Collections. And so I'm hoping one of these days I'll have actually the lady who is in charge of that collection. I talked to her.
Okay.
She might come and talk about that sometime. But that picture is a later picture than some of the ones I was showing.
Right,
this is more like the 70s, or is this the 60s or 70s, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's from a photo album, a scrapbook, and a lot of pictures like that are in there. So it was really neat.
And I'm sure a lot of people recognize different people.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of people would. A lot of people need to see these pictures. Okay, so this is bringing us now to probably the close here. If you have enjoyed our program, please like, share, and also comment to tell us what you thought about it. We've talked a lot about a lot of things in this program today, so please leave a comment and let us know. Did I leave anything out that I should have asked? Leave us a comment. Keep the conversation going. Also, if you are interested in joining a church or looking for a church, and I would have said if you lived in the Huntington area, but now I can say anywhere in the world. And please check out our live stream worship service every Sunday at 10 a.m. Also check back on the channel for some of the archive Bible studies and worship services we have. Our guest has been Ms. Carolyn Mankins, a lifelong member of First Presbyterian Church, Huntington, West Virginia. We as a church sincerely appreciate you being on this program and sharing your story with us. May the Lord bless you and your family and your loved ones. Carolyn, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.